she made sure that we were all treated equally.
Sobe, I want to thank you for getting up early in the morning, man. You're just here visiting too.
Yeah, just visiting.
You said you've been here once before, right?
Yeah, 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
All right. Now, for those of you that are watching, there's one thing that I think that you might notice. Sobe is quite a bit taller than me. How tall
right here.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'6".
6'6".
Some people say I'm like 6. I don't. That's like without my shoes.
Without
so I'm
your
like
shoes.
a good 6'7".
Good 6'7". You got on some little padding.
A little bit of a midsole on my shoe.
Is everyone in your family tall?
Yeah, my dad is about 6'3". My mom is like 5'10". You know,
that's kind of tall for a woman.
That's pretty.
My
tall.
mother's 5'10".
Yeah, but I grew past everyone.
You have siblings?
Yeah, 2 younger siblings. Yeah.
What are they? Girls or boys?
They're both girls. So
you're the only boy in the family?
Yeah,
oh man, you got
and,
treated like a king, man. Shoot.
Nah, man.
But you had a lot of responsibility because you're your parents' first child too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, both your parents. I'm getting kind of your business up.
That's cool.
Were they only married with each other?
Yeah.
They've never been married before.
No.
All right.
Yeah, only married with each other.
Because when we talk, because I met you here at TAC just the other day. You were right in front of me. I mean, I was walking behind you, and I said, "What the heck?" I would have known you.
Walking to the court.
I said, I would know you. Then you kind of walked away from me and said, "What's this kid chasing me for?" I said, "I'm not chasing you, brother. I'm going this way too."
Try to keep the conversation quick.
Right.
You caught me. I was like, "Oh, dang, we go from the same area, everything."
That's right. Yeah, right. So I'd ask you where you're from.
Yeah.
And you're from LA.
Yeah, I'm from born and raised in Los Angeles. Yeah.
You know which hospital you were born in?
Nah, but I know it was in Inglewood. I don't know if it was Sentinella. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Okay, because I was born in White Memorial Hospital. Got it. It's still there.
Yeah.
And I was there at the time. I was born in 52. And you were born in what?
I don't say. But
you want to say? Oh, you want to say? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta like that. We can't really say his age and nothing. Listen to this. All right. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Listen. So, in LA, so you're growing up in LA, and you told me your background. You told me you're Nigerian, and I have Nigerian blood in me too, but I'm African American. They say that's called African American because I was brought over a little bit differently than you were. You were born there. I mean, my ancestors were brought over differently.
No, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So tell me, why are you in Japan, first of all?
So just this time around, just visiting, just because I just had some time off. I felt like the last time I visited, I went back to Los Angeles way more zen, way more like my peace of mind was there for maybe a good 2 weeks, and it was.
You stayed here for 2 weeks?
I was good. I was here for 2 weeks, and I got back home and I felt better, and then you kind of get back into the rhythm of things, and you know, LA lifestyle, American lifestyle, just you get more stressed out from work. Just everything. So I feel it's like my favorite place to visit as far as like a vacation spot, or I feel like people are all on the same page. People just like respect their area, that you don't see trash anywhere. You see people are just respectful when they talk to you. It's just culturally, I love how people kind of move out here. So I feel like when I come out here, it's just like, not only do I find like, hey, a new clothing brand, or like, the food is always amazing. Everything's always amazing. But you just feel like, hey, like learn something new, and I'm at peace. I don't feel like I'm forcing myself into doing anything.
But this is your second time here.
Second time here.
You got all that in 2 weeks. The first time you
were here. Yeah.
Did you come by yourself, or did you come with a group of people?
Came with a big group of people. I came with some of my friends. One of my friends that you met the other day. He's from LA, but I have a whole different, diverse group of friends. One of my friends from Detroit. Another guy's from Kentucky. A whole different, we came a whole different group of friends, all different.
Well, how do you guys get together? How do you meet? You work in the same company or something?
No. More so, this was partially either through streetwear fashion or like sports. Some of us we hooped together. We played in college, whether it be like by way on a team or intramurals or different things like that. So we just hoops. You just kind of like bond with each other.
Okay. Where'd you go to college?
Cal State Fullerton.
Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All
Fullerton. Right. It was a cool school. Like, I was Nigerian naturally, so the other doctor, lawyer, engineer. I was a biochemistry major. Yeah, randomly biochemistry major. And
what do you mean randomly?
Well, It's not randomly, but more so because the space I'm in now is more of like streetwear
You're
fashion.
marketing, right?
Yeah, I'm in
You're
marketing.
marketing,
Yeah,
yeah.
in that, so it's a whole different lane that I didn't really like go to school for. But so I said like most Nigerians do like aim to be a like doctor, lawyer,
Something
engineer.
that's
Yeah,
instant
and
cash. You
then
know that money's there. You know
yeah,
you can take care of
I
yourself.
was a kid that like Halloween. I dressed up as like a doctor or a surgeon
Or a
for Halloween
scientist
in
or something.
third
Yeah.
grade. Yeah,
Is that
that's like
right?
yeah, that was like me.
Was
So
that
like
were your parents pushing you that way?
I didn't think so, but I feel like they just wanted the best for me. I like to believe it.
They didn't. Wait, did they say it to you, or did you just find little books all over the place?
It
Little
was it
kids
was
and Dr.
sprinkled it
Seuss and
was
stuff.
sprinkled in. It was sprinkled in. But I feel like at a certain point it was just like, they wanted me to be better than what they were doing. So my mom was a pharmacist. My dad, he was insurance agent basically.
Okay.
So like my mom was always like, I want you to do better than me. So I guess for her that meant, a doctor or
Yeah.
or specialize in as a surgeon, things like that. So for me, that's why I felt like, and I saw people around my family being that they were able to achieve those things. So I was just like, okay, that made it easier for me to feel like I could do that too.
But see, you're in America now. You grew up in America, and I'm
Yeah.
sure they gave you your talk, but it was different than the talk that people who came over on the boat, different boat.
No, for sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Nah,
So,
true.
what was it like for you as a kid? I mean, and how did you see people like me? I'll use the example.
Yeah.
Who were born and raised there, but they're descendants of slaves.
Transparently, I didn't see a difference growing up. Because, you grew up in Los Angeles, so I feel like a lot of areas are like divided by way of like being Black, Latino, different things like that. And I feel like for me, once I would go to school, it was just like, that's kind of like, like you find your like tribe kind of that way. And I felt like for me, there weren't many Nigerians, but I feel like, I grew up listening to like Snoop, Corrupt, like all of that, like Dr. Dre. So it's just like that influence is all through Los Angeles. So like I feel like from like a Black cultural standpoint, like that is what you kind of like grew up in. So I feel like, yeah, I was Nigerian and transparently, I would go visit every 2-3 years since I was like 7. My parents like made sure I was going early. So like
So you remember?
I remember those. I remember having
Wait, Accra? Where'd you go?
No, I went. So my family's from Anambra State.
Okay.
So like, I remember going to where my dad grew up in his village, and where my mom grew up in Udi Town, and just like that's at age of 7. So I didn't like, and so I'll get back to the main point, but a lot of these different stereotypes about like maybe Africans living in huts, things like that.
That's all the American show.
Yeah, and
grass skirts, spears, and
like,
chasing.
Yeah, like granted, like some probably have that, but like like it wasn't really like they had roads. They had all these things, and I was just like, okay, like I got to see that at an early age, and then but I was able to come back to LA, and it was just like I feel like that was kind of like where there was not like conflict, but it was like, okay, I'm this, but I'm also this.
So you started finding your identity.
Yeah,
and you knew that you weren't quite. Did you? I'm sure your parents had to say something too.
Oh, for sure.
But this is behind doors. They don't want you to be saying this in public.
Yeah.
But you are not.
Yeah.
Such and such.
Yeah.
And don't mistake that.
No, and it's not in a way of, and not in a negative way, but more so in a way of like that's what they knew. It was just like like they grew up in, like my mom she grew up in Nigeria, went to St. John's for pharmacy school in Queens, came out here, and she's like, she just wanted to make sure I knew where I was from, and like, and obviously her growing up there, she didn't want me to lose that, because some people don't have the luxury of knowing that. Not to say better or worse, it's just
they don't have it.
Right. So
there's one thing too, like I said to you the other day, I think that having that is a big benefit when you know it. Because when I grew up, I was ashamed. And see, your emotional makeup is from birth to age 12. And after that, it's just basically information that you're getting, but you've already built up what you feel about yourself. I didn't become proud of being Black. The civil rights is what I forgot to mention. That's what was happening during that time.
Wow.
But they were trying to give people their pride. That's why you had Jesse Jackson say, "You're black and you're proud," and James Brown singing that. And you hear Martin Luther King speaking, and you had Malcolm X. These guys were all, descendants of slaves, and they realized how oppressive it was to be of color and be descendants of slaves and live in America.
Do you feel like people? Sorry, I don't know. You're asking
No,
me a question.
no. You can ask me questions. Sure.
Do you feel like people in that era, they weren't as prideful of it, or was it a different
We had to change it.
Or...
When I was growing up, if you call somebody black, those were fighting words.
Wow.
You were called colored.
Got it, and that felt...
or Negro.
Got it. Wow.
If you said black, my uncle, I had an uncle who's passed now, my uncle Ralph, who was in the Navy, and someone called him black, and he was an officer, and he hit him, and he was discharged as a result of that for being called black. So you don't call a black man black then.
Wow.
And we decided to take it on because it was similar to like playing. You know what playing the dozens is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we did that to each other, not realizing we were setting ourselves up for when we get outside and someone calling your name and you don't fight.
Mentally prepared for
preparing yourself, but we didn't know that.
Got it. Wow.
So then we decided to adapt black as an identity, so no one could say it to us and make us feel bad. So we decided
get you out of character just by hearing something.
That's what it is.
Got it.
So you decided to start feeling you were much better about yourself and doing that. See, if you were anything other than being a descendant of slaves, even Jamaicans did better. Eddie Murphy did a movie called 24. What was it? Beverly Hills Cops, the first one, and he goes to a hotel, Beverly Hills Hotel, and he gets in and says, "Hey man, you're gonna treat me," and they let him in.
Wow.
If he would have spoke
with
a regular accent, with an LA accent, he wouldn't have gotten in.
God, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? And if you came during that time, if they did not know you were Nigerian, you'd be in big trouble. And even now, it's the same case. You can, if you and I are riding together in the car, it might take you off to the side somewhere. But me, they start right away.
And it's like transparently, I think like it wasn't until I got a bit older that I started understanding more of, not to say the luxury, I don't know the best word is, but the luxury of knowing exactly where I was from and having visited Nigeria so many times. I think, because most of my friends are black, transparently, and I just because I grew up in LA and I don't have many Nigerian friends. I have a few Nigerian friends. I pick friends by way of how they move, less of like, just like, genetic makeup. I just feel like if you we share this, we kind of like the eye to eye thing, if we share the same point of view in certain aspects, like I care about respect, I care about, community, things like that. If I see you move just like me, then I feel like, we kind of mesh.
I learned that when I was in the service.
Yeah.
I was stationed in Puerto Rico. So I used to go to the Virgin Islands. I used to go to St. Croix, St. Kitts, St. Martin all the time. And I remember going there and seeing, one of my girlfriends was at St. Martin? St. Croix, one of the two. And she was as tall as me.
Jeez.
But her brother, her whole family did the security on the inner ring of the island. On the outside ring were all hotels owned by whites.
Got it.
But I remember seeing this ice cream stand of these two, a black boy and a black girl, red lips, licking an ice cream. And I go up to it, it's just a little stand, and I go up to it and I say to the sister, "It must be sad you have to work for the man with that up there." She said, "Work for the man? This is my family's."
Oh, wow. Wow.
They're the ones who painted that thing like that. They didn't think of that as being bad.
Got it.
Then I realized if I spoke to somebody from the islands and asked them, how do you compare, if I asked an American, a black man, how do you compare to a white man? An African American say, "I think I'm as good as him." You ask someone from the islands, he says, "I don't know. It depends on how he acts."
Interesting.
He's already equal to him. It depends. I don't know. He might be a bit down here. It depends on how he acts.
Yeah, interesting.
And I said, the way he approaches that is completely different. I'm always taught to think of myself as less. And that's something they started to build up. And then when we come up with a lot of anger, not just the calmness that you see in some people. See, we anger because you're going to go against me. We're anticipating it, so therefore we bring it in.
No, and I've heard some of, it's not animosity is not the right word, but I've heard that from some of my friends, some of my
It's
black
in an
friends. Right?
anger, or you've been taught that, you're going to be oppressed, and no, and
Yeah.
you're fighting something that hasn't even happened to you, possibly.
Right, because the difference is like I'll say like even with my parents, right? Like just not to say they haven't gone through their own experiences. It's just like
They have.
knowing kind of like where you come from, things like that. Or having seen someone already become a doctor, things like that. That is it's a bit of an unlock that I feel like I never let's say I never took it for granted, but I wasn't aware of how much it shaped my drive in life because I never felt like I couldn't do something.
There's a little image I saw and it was Black Enterprise magazine, and they had this little boy, and he's standing like this with his hands on his hips, and he's wearing a Superman costume, and he's looking in the mirror, but in the mirror there's a white Superman.
Oh,
And it
wow.
says, how can we teach our children to have a strong image for themselves when the person they see in the mirror doesn't look like them? And that's how I grew up.
Interesting.
You can look at it, but you're not Superman.
And it's so interesting because now you have like
Everything.
a black little mermaid, or you have like different. It's like it's
All
like
kinds
these
of-
little steps.
And the thing,
that-
but see, we see it a little differently because they try to, anyone that's second class in America immediately comes to being black. They want to be identified as being, what about the black people? Let's say the guy I could make it drastic, but let's say that they have some sort of disability, some way or another, they'll try to, let's say it's not physical, but something's different about them. They'll say, well, it's just like the way you treat black people. And then they try to associate it with them. The women's movement went that way. They had nothing wrong with it. They wanted to get the vote. We didn't have the vote. Off of our backs,
Fair.
they rode all the way through. And then they start talking about women's rights. They weren't talking about all women's rights, though.
Yeah, until Title IX and other components.
You start looking at it, they weren't talking about but they already got their man's at the top anyway.
Got it.
They wanted
I
to
see
be
what you're
beside him instead of you putting people in between. We would hold it.
saying. Yeah. No, I understand.
So that's how it
understand.
ended up going. But now we have so much information. The world has changed drastically. So to continue to talk about issues like that doesn't do anyone any good. I think there's no excuse. No one standing at our libraries, no one standing at your internet connection with a gun telling you can't use it. You can't get this information. And they're so easy to work around the world, and you don't have to leave your living room. If you get the right credentials, get the right information, no one's going to, and you can have a bank account anywhere you want.
Right.
And be doing it all from there, and be as big as you want to be, as small as you want to be. You can look any way you want to be. If you have that information and you can get the job done through the internet, you're done. You can make as much as you want to have. And then next thing they say you're walking up and you get up the steps and you get to the top of something, you go, meow, meow. They say, wait, this your plane? Meow, 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 meow. So how the hell can this be your plane? You're a cat. Meow, meow, meow.
Yeah.
This is my plane. I'm just saying there's no limit now, so there's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. Not that there was an excuse before, it was a reality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any man. You're the man. There is no woman. You're the woman. You're whatever you want to be now.
Do you feel like, because I feel like, well, aside from being out here in LA, there are so many different, I don't want to get into all the different impressions, but I feel like, do you feel like there are reasons why, even with all this access, that there's still some ways to go? I know it's a loaded question, but I don't know.
There always will be, but that's just, I think, on an intellectual level, as a human being, if you can get past what you think you're seeing or what you think people try to, you've come here, first of all.
That's a good point. Even just traveling and seeing.
You've come here twice on your own. What made you, my question to you is, what made you want to come in the first place?
Yeah, honestly, I always wanted to visit Japan. I'm a big anime fan. I'm a big, I always...
Name some of the animes you like.
I like Cowboy Bebop, Hunter x Hunter. I could go on for days.
Go on for days and tell me a couple more.
Cowboy Bebop, Hunter x Hunter, Naruto, Rurouni Kenshin.
You know Dragon Ball?
I love Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. I watch all of those. One Punch, One Punch Man, One Piece. I could go on for that.
One Piece, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, One Piece is one of my... I never...
Kinnikuman, did you know Kinnikuman?
No.
Kinnikuman had big lips and he was like this and he could make his muscles here, go like that, which I can do,
Anime is the best.
And he's a wrestler. He was always dynamite, man. Everyone.
Yeah, like I watched so many, like even I love anime. So for me, like I used to draw, even to this day I still draw. But since I was a kid, I always used to just draw, even try to draw Pokemon, draw my own Pokemon. I was that kid in class getting my paper taken away because I'm drawing Pokemon. I love Pokemon. Like all my Nintendo friends always like, they're like, we know you love Pokemon. Here's this little game over here. Here's this like new card. They're like feeding my addiction, you know.
Is there,
Like I love Pokemon that much. I'm a big. That's actually like my friends. They like have two good friends. They like whenever I visit, they feed my Pokemon habit. They'll go to like the Pokemon Center. We went to 2 days ago. We went to by way of I don't know, it's like a raffling system. We went to a Pokemon museum in what's it called? Azubudai Hills. Is that what you pronounce it? The area?
Azubudai Hills?
Yeah.
Azubudai Hills right over here?
Yes. So there's a Pokemon museum
right?
around here that you can only get access to by way of like a raffle lottery system. And I visited there.
And you're in heaven.
I love it, bro. Like they get to everyone here gets to have this every day. I don't get to have this, right? Like I only get to have this when I'm here. So I'll buy all this Pokemon stuff, this limited stuff. I'm a big Pokemon fan. So like for me, like Tokyo is just like Japan in general is just like it's just a place.
So how's it feel for you? Because first of all, you stand out.
For sure.
Ethnicity, and then also your height.
Yeah.
And you get trains. Everyone looks at. I'm sure you get all the
everywhere.
So how do you handle it? What do you do? How do you feel about that?
But honestly, I'm already very tall where I'm from anyway. Like in LA, so it's like.
And do people look at you in LA too?
They do, but they always ask me.
They think
it's like
you're
a
somebody?
conversation starter. They always think I'm like an athlete or like.
And they don't know who you are. Someone they may not know.
Yeah, they're like, damn, this guy has to be. So like, they're like, oh, I'll be at the gas station. It's like, oh, like, where do you play? Like, it's already an assumption, you know? Sometimes I'll troll them. I'll be like, oh, I play golf. And they get kind of mad at me. I just make up, I'm a professional tennis player. I just make up some random stuff sometimes.
I'm a professional chess player. I play chess.
They were like, well, if you were my son, you would be.
I'd have you in the ball game right away, man. You'd be taking care of the whole family.
I hear that every day. So that's why I troll people sometimes. Because sometimes I have to go somewhere. I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'll just say this and maybe the conversation will go by fast.
Are your sisters tall?
They're pretty tall, yeah. They're like not almost as tall as I'm, like 5'9".
Oh, they're shorter than your mother?
Yeah, but like 5'9", 5'10".
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, around my mom's height.
Are you guys close?
Yeah, we're close. We grew closer later. I think like the
How many years between you and your next sister?
I want to say 3 years, then that's 7 years. So it's like
7 years.
Yeah, so we're just a lot.
So all of you guys had your own friends because you guys
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Much.
And me being the only male, like this, I grew up a lot different. I grew up in a different area than they grew up in. It's just,
and then also because of the way your family, where they're from, and how their tradition.
Yes.
And what a boy's going to be doing versus what a girl's going to be doing. You guys didn't play together.
No. And it's funny about that. It's like I feel like normally there's this stereotype about the oldest Nigerian male and them not getting pampered, but they're like the king. They get to do whatever they want.
And you weren't?
Nah.
You weren't.
Huh? No, my mom, I promise you, my mom was like the youngest in her household. Okay. So she knew what it was like. But in a non-traditional manner, her dad made sure to put all of the kids through school versus just all the males, because the males are usually like the ones like kind of prioritized. Right. So like she got the opportunity to go to school and become a pharmacist, as well as like her other her brother, her brothers and stuff. So like she kind of got to see the difference between like how she was raised versus like some of her other counterparts. So I think for me, she made sure that we were all treated equally, and it wasn't a thing where I got too big-headed and I was like, I'm the oldest male, I'm right, this and that, So like she did a great job. She did a good job at that. She did a really good job at that.
But also she's in a country where if you do that, she used to protect you in many ways.
Oh, for sure.
Because you're a smart man of color.
Yeah, for sure.
If you act like you're not black in America,
you
get put in your place.
Yeah. And I think that's why.
You look too free and everything. Too quick and twisted.
You gotta find that balance, right? Because
going into stores, touching stuff.
You find it, right? You have to find it, because at the end of the day, it's like when you feel like no one's untouchable, no one's bigger than the next person. That's my mentality, at least. Right. So I feel like some of I won't say my relatives, but I'll just say some people that I've seen raised like this, like they move freely because other people allow them to until someone checks them.
And when they check them, sometimes
and that happens in any society.
That's right.
You will get checked. No one's untouchable.
That's
you
right.
know? So I think.
Well, you can go pretty far in some places. Depends on who you are. Like I said,
no, that's true though.
Depends on who you are. You can go pretty far, because you're kept in your own little bubble.
Yeah.
Let's say like this, let's say that you only know private clubs. That's all you know.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
So you're sitting up here doing this, and then you go from this club to the LA club. And you go to other clubs, I've been all over the world.
Yeah.
But you've been in a bubble every time you went there. You never went outside.
Yeah.
You never got to see how the other people act.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're I don't even know if that's a luxury, but if you're able to kind of move like that, you probably won't ever learn what it's like to, not say the real world, but how people really feel about how you're moving.
Other people may be, but then again, that's, who do you need? Do you need to?
You might not need to, and that's probably why you can move the way you want to.
Let me put it this way: I not need to, but is that your journey?
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone has their own journey, and that may not be your journey to know that side. Because I struggled with this for quite a while. When I came to Japan and started doing really well, I thought maybe I should go back to LA and teach people who were like me when I was growing up. I didn't do bad. I like to say we were middle upper class, which would make us middle class white. Because my father worked at the post office, my mother had a job, my father and mother, everyone got divorced during my time. It would be rare you found a family during my era where the parents stayed together. Yeah. Okay. So and then
it's funny to hear
that. Right. So it was a different situation.
Yeah.
And I remember moving into the neighborhood and asking my parents, why is Mrs. Wheeler, the white woman across the street, moving? Why is she leaving?
Wow.
Because the houses were all white up until then.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you what your neighborhoods were like. Because I'm trying to think of
it was white, but I didn't know. And my parents never.
Wow.
And matter of fact, white people would come there trying to sell vacuum cleaners to the house. There was that type of.
That's so crazy.
They'd be really. And I never knew my mother. She'd get on the phone. She was, hello, this is Alice Lee, and she talked. And I didn't understand why she would sound different when she got on the phone. And then I learned later that if she didn't sound that way, and they suspected her of being colored at the time, she couldn't get anything done. She had to assimilate, sound like the people who she was talking to.
No, but to your point, it's almost like had she not had her own experiences, imagine she just kind of went through this space ignorant and just kind of probably maybe wouldn't have the same experience you would have today. Just not without being able to observe how she kind of operated in certain settings,
That's true. No, I look at that. Yeah. I look at that when they're doing it. Everyone, no matter what time you grow up, we look at it differently. What you focus on, what I focus on, are going to be two different things, and we can be in the same situation.
For sure.
So, having said that, is how you decide to see yourself, and what's going to happen.
Super true. Fair.
It's like the two salesmen. I use this example. There were two shoe salesmen, and they were told by the company owner for them to go to this one country. It was a third world country, and to see if their shoes could sell. They went to the same country. And then they came back, and salesman number one said, sir, we can't sell any shoes there. And the guy said, why? He said, because they don't wear shoes. And he asked that other guy, and he talked to him separately. You heard it before. He asked the other guy and said, who was looking at you, said, man, it's a gold mine.
Yeah.
He said, we will clean up. And he said, well, why do you think we clean them? They don't wear shoes.
That's a whole glass half full versus glass half empty.
They don't wear shoes. Yeah. He said, we will make a ton, buddy.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you come at it. And that's with everything in life. Everything in life. What you see, it's a little boy that's on the bus. And he's getting ready to get up, and these three bullies come by and push him down.
Yeah.
He tries to get up again. They push him to hold him down. And then he looks at them and he says, you might be holding me down on the outside, but inside I'm standing strong.
Powerful though. Powerful.
And when you start using these images in your head and picking the ones that will help you do the stuff you want to do during this journey, hey, it becomes, the journey is what's enjoyable.
But, I learned so much, even, I'm open a lot, but I feel like through therapy is what kind of changed my mindset.
You've been through therapy?
Yeah, I had it for a year.
That's a big thing. See, we would never.
Nah, never.
Your parents never went through therapy.
No, they didn't. They I don't know if they had.
There's something we just didn't do.
You just figured things out. You just kept.
And let me say something else too. so bad that I have to bring into light that makes it easier. It's easier now.
Okay.
You have access to it easier. You can do it online. We had to physically go someplace
Yeah, true.
and see someone who we didn't know, and it wasn't affordable.
Yeah, and it might
That's the
not
loneliest
also
people
be
in
the
America.
person that like the best option for you also. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can shop around, you can do like this and say nope and try them and say, nah, I don't like what you're saying. And
Yeah.
the algorithms are son of a gun if they're used right.
No, you're right, bro. Even for me, like I had the luxury of having this insurance and being able to search around, find someone that I feel like, maybe I want a male to talk to me, or maybe I want a female to talk to me, or maybe I want, or maybe someone that looks like me to talk to me, or like someone like
About what?
No, just about like through therapy, like just like I feel like maybe someone that looks like me may be able to understand my experiences better, maybe not. So
What are some of the things what did you feel you were helped with?
Okay, like for example, maybe navigating through work. Maybe you have like different work relationships. How do you figure out how to navigate the work-life balance? Maybe that may be it. Or like from a family perspective, maybe like obviously not everyone agrees on like. I'll take this step back. I'll say it from a family perspective. How do you break through with like maybe your uncles and aunts or family members that have a whole different upbringing from you, have a whole different point of view on like on what respect means to you, right? Like it's like I know what respect means to me growing up in LA, but maybe respect to my uncle is like you listen to me because I'm the oldest or I'm older than you, and you may not be right. So things like that, how do you find that balance of those type of things, right? So I think for me, therapy, one of the biggest answers, not to that one, but to get to your latter point, was just more so about the glass half full. I think a lot of ways I was able to, or even just like maybe from a work perspective, you're like, hey, like I'm doing all this, but how do I like, I'm not feeling like, you're never gonna feel like you're getting everything that you deserve out of work sometimes. So maybe it was more so glass half full. I appreciate that I'm in this situation because maybe I get to spend more time with my family. That's maybe one of the pros to it. Just looking at things more positively versus like that mentality of like, that you do have in America, like, dang, I might be behind. I gotta keep doing things otherwise, like, because otherwise you could be check to check, or you could like this might be gone and you just have nothing, So it's just like this, trying to keep more peace while navigating life through this glass half full mentality is what I try to, is one of the things I took from therapy.
How long you stay in Japan this time?
Till I have like about 2 more weeks.
How long have you been here?
Only 3 days. Only 3 days.
Oh, 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have two.
I just got here.
You're gonna be here for about 2 weeks and a half.
So like till the 14th, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2 weeks. Yeah.
You just take off from work and say, "Hey, I'm going to Japan."
Well, I mean, that's one thing I learned from therapy too. You just have to make time for yourself sometimes, right? Like I think I used to try to work around family stuff or work or things like that. It's just like, no, you have to set time, and you just know that like everything else will have to just get figured out. Sometimes you have to like I'm more of like I'm not a control freak in that end, but I feel like I like to be able to be very hands on. And just like, okay, if I'm leaving, is this going to be done the right way? But sometimes you're not helping your counterparts by being there all the time. You have to show people how you want to move. And I think by me just kind of going, they understand, okay, I got to figure it out because so-and-so is not here.
Are you religious?
I believe in God. I'll say that.
Okay.
I believe there's a higher being, and I believe that higher being got me to where I'm at. I feel like I've traveled a lot, so I feel like I know. I mean, it's a bit controversial, but I do know about the Crusades and like how Christianity, Catholicism came to be, and some of the workings in between. But I do feel like we are here for a reason, and I feel like whether it be by way through love or through helping each other, things like that, I feel like there are things that we should all be doing. And I feel like God did help me get here. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's good. Do you talk to your parents often? when you're home?
Yeah.
Are they in LA?
They're in LA.
They're in LA.
I talk to mom every day.
Yeah. What about dad? You say mom. So what about your dad?
Yeah, my dad. Is
he quiet or what?
No, we talk. I think we're just both like, we don't share the same. We're not like eye on everything.
You do you and I do me.
Yeah, it's like, but it's just a level of respect there. But it's just like, it's not like I call him every day. Like I feel like, because it almost like, for me, it's almost like showing I can handle myself. Otherwise, it looks.
Have you ever had any heated debates with your dad?
I feel like everyone has. I mean, I feel.
No,
like,
I'm just a bit. Have you?
Yeah, I have for sure.
And how did he handle it?
I think more so through his point of view on, him being right. It's just like that's just what it is.
Was
right?
Mom there?
Not all the time. Not all the time.
She wasn't there. But you wait. All the time. Wait. How many heated debates have you guys had?
Maybe not like maybe two.
Okay.
Like
okay.
Two heated.
I mean big ones where you got you kind of like got the tears.
Yeah. Like two really heated debates.
Okay.
But I do feel like the reason I don't say my mom's not there wasn't there for those is because like I feel like as a man, I feel like I should be able to handle that like man to man with my dad, right?
Wait, she'd jump on your side, you mean?
No, she wouldn't want, I think it's more like, hey, like let us handle that.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I feel about
That's
it.
right.
That's like, I think, and you kind of get it growing up in Los Angeles, it's like, it's just a respect thing. Like LA is big on respect. It's like, look, like, and I think that's how I grew up growing up in Los Angeles. I think for him, it's like, I'm the oldest. He has like, there's different customs. Like, he grew up that way too. Like where like, he's the oldest on his side, and his dad taught him that you're the oldest, you have these responsibilities, and I think like I had to adopt some of those things, but then some of those things in Nigerian culture clash with like American culture, and I think that's where we end up clashing sometimes. Like it's not right just because you feel it's right. You know what I mean?
It's so interesting, because I have my sons. I have 4 sons. I've told you, and. I think each one of them I have had a discussion with. And only one of them did their university time in the States. It was in Florida. And it was interesting, his perspective. I said, it sounds like you're disrespecting me. He said, Dad, I will never disrespect my parents. Based upon what he learned in the States. And it was really interesting to me. All of them wanted to come back here to live.
It's pretty amazing out here. I come out here like I could do it. I love it out here. Are
you married or are you single?
I'm single.
Okay,
I'm
single. Okay.
Yeah.
You have any kids?
No kids.
Okay, so you took care of that too. Man. They're good. You're smart. I did that too.
Take care of myself first.
I made sure shoot.
Yeah,
Talk to me. It's raining outside.
Yeah. I'm not knocking anybody else, but I also feel like myself. Like I'm trying to take care of myself at least first. It's hard enough,
right? Because I think what happens too, on that subject. I don't think that most people that have kids, the majority of them, should be the ones responsible for taking care of them. I think they should have them young because that nature is made us that way. However, they should let their parents take care of them. If they have it like that, because the parents now have the wisdom. They don't have it yet. And the older you get, the more you start realizing that's how it should be set up.
That's the way it is. You have a different point of view. I do agree that could work too. I just feel like, there are so many different areas in America where it's like somebody in the Midwest might be like, shoot, if you're like 25, you're supposed to have kids right now, married.
That was for everybody basically because of the lifespan, for one thing.
But you go to LA, it's like people
40, 50.
Yeah, people because people are chasing different, and it's more expensive. There's all these other components, So
you think of it that way, Well, the people were on me because when I started having kids, most people had only 2, and I wanted 4.
That means you're doing well.
No, I wanted 4. I wanted to have 4. I didn't know how I was going to be able to take care of them or anything else, but I figured having them, that would force me to. Right? Now, it didn't hurt that my wife's a doctor, but doctors are high-paid salary people unless they're told how to get out of that and do their own thing. That's for most people because, now I'm going to get into my philosophies. We're not sitting here basically, if you don't have an idea of what you want to do with yourself, somebody else will. And as long as they do, and as long as they do, you're going to lose a certain amount of control.
That is a fact.
Now, when you decide what you want to do, you're actually doing what the universe has put you to do, and that's to create.
That's so funny. You said that's
You're put here to create. You're not put here to work for somebody else. And I've told my sons this in joking and half serious. Your mother and I paid for your education. If you decide to work for somebody else's family, I don't care what you call it. You know, IBM, DuPont, I don't care what you call them. That's another family. You pay me 15%. Now, your mother loves you unconditionally because she's been tricked to believe that you came from her. I know, and she knows intellectually too, that you came through her, right? She will do for you unconditionally. She loves you unconditionally. Mine's conditional. I didn't feel any of that. Any of that, whatever she felt, I didn't feel any of that. As soon as you started working, I'm thinking, this boy can get a job. And so it's a little bit different. And I told my sons this too. Being in the military would have helped you in one respect. They spend so much money on HI, human intelligence, that they can get you to be willing to give your life within 8 weeks for something you'll never see. A medal you'll never see. You'll jump on the hand grenade. You'll do these things because you're young and they know how to work with your mind. Right? And you learn never to question authority. That's where your dad gets it from. Even if they're right.
Yeah. I
agree with that. You can see the guy shooting the gun. You're saying, sir, but go up there and get the...
Yeah.
You know the bullets are passing by.
Yeah.
You question it, he'll shoot you.
Yeah.
You can't question. So sometimes you got to just eat it, go for it, and you'll find out after you get through, you say, I made it just happen. I took the hill.
You know, that's I know. You know, it's funny. You're right in that aspect. I know where the mentality comes from. I think for me, the same way you have your mentality. I feel like for me, I learn more having my own experiences. I'll try these things once. I'll try it, and sometimes these things work in the house, do not work outside the house. So I'll try these things. Oh, it didn't work outside the house. I'm gonna adopt my own way of like kind of moving. So I'll try things. I'll try it. I'll test it out. I'll benefit of the doubt. Some things work, some things don't, and I'll create the best version of myself. I do 100% agree with like if you don't make decisions get made for you. 100%. Like I feel like sometimes silence becomes a decision, right?
It is.
That's what
regardless of what you do, if you do it or don't do it, that's the decision you made.
You made a decision, right?
You made a decision.
I feel like to the first point, I feel like it's interesting your point because I feel like for some women I know don't want to have kids and they don't feel like and that's okay. I feel like that's them. They don't want to have kids and that's their point of view on it, and they feel like their purpose is different, and that's fine. I feel like I think you found a way to serve your purpose, and it's definitely made you like the best version of yourself. And to your point, your even earlier point is just like, what is your purpose? How are you moving? Like you have to at least search for that. You have to at least search for that.
There's one more thing, Sobe, and this is something that we always talk about this. We talk about the destination, but that's not it. I cannot, right now, if I want to be fit, get down and do 10 push-ups, and now I'm fit.
Yeah.
And it's done. Game over.
Yeah, I wish it was.
And see, and another thing, too, people ask me when I'm going to retire, and I think that's something we dupe ourselves with, right? They should stop. They should take that word out of the vocabulary because when I retire, you are going to retire, and it's going to be like retire. Period. No, there's no retirement, but my retirement's going to look like this. I showed you last time.
Yeah.
And I don't take one back in.
Yeah.
That's when I retire.
Yeah.
Why is there going to be a time when I would decide I'm going to sit on a boat and just fish? I'm going to do that. I do that.
Why can't you do it now? That's
and then
why
I'm going to go out.
Here.
I'm going to go out and then I'm going to draw something and I'm going to exchange whatever it takes, whatever the economy is like. It might be I need a chip or something to get it recharged. Whatever it may be, I'm going to do that so I can continue to enjoy this experience until I let go of this and go into whatever else there is.
Preaching, man, because that's why I'm out here, right? Like I feel like there was never when I say find that balance of when to get, do what you want. It's like there's never going to be the perfect time. You have to do what you want for yourself and shape that for yourself.
That's right.
That's why I'll just set time. I'll just go. I'll go and I will work out because I am responsible. I'll figure it out.
I always feel attracted to people that move, particularly people of color, because I have a natural affinity to that.
Yeah.
especially if I see them in my house.
Yeah. yeah.
Walking around.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to them and find out what's going on. But you're already successful. You came on the other side of the planet. Where you came from, people are standing upside down right now. You know that?
Man.
You can call them up and give them, because you're in the future, you can call them up and give them the lottery numbers, and you guys could be wealthy and you can ever believe it. Hey, Mom, this is what the lottery is. You're a hit.
25, you'll be fine. Just trust me on that one.
You're in the future. You're in the future.
That's true.
They haven't gotten this time yet.
That's funny.
So I enjoy this, man. What else do you have planned for yourself while you're here? Over that 2 weeks, what do you plan on doing?
So I'm going to Kyoto. I plan on going over there. I plan on going to Osaka so both of those places for 3 days each. Then I'll come back out here. Because last time I spent 2 weeks out here, which was fun. But my friends had different, they were opening up different stores, and there were a lot of different things. I think this time
your friends are opening stores.
They were open stores last time I was here. I think this time around, I'm just kind of winging it. I'm just I love the feeling I had when I was out here. And transparently, last time I was here was 2019. I landed in LA. After a week, I booked travel for a year in advance. And then COVID happened. So that's why I haven't been since. It was just, I couldn't go. So I've been eyeing it. And then obviously I've seen a lot of different
tourists
out here, obviously because of the power of, dollar from
There's
monetary
so
standpoint.
many tourists here. Man, I've never seen this many foreigners here in the past. After the Olympics, they came here in droves. COVID and the Olympics made them come here in droves. So I see them all the time in Tokyo. But you can get, not even an hour away, 30 minutes away from here, and you won't see any.
No, that's why I'm excited to go to Kyoto and Osaka.
Kyoto, you're going to see a few too there, because they're going the same place you're going to. Oh. You have to go, If you go to Osaka and Kyoto, those are two big cities. But if you go to Ome, if you go to some of these other places.
Where they probably don't speak English as much, probably.
And that'll get you good too, because you can get over. You find out how you'll find someone. I've traveled all over almost every place I can imagine in this country by motorcycle and by car and by plane, because I was in the scanner business and we had to fly to different places. But one time I went to here, Shinagawa Station, which is a pretty big station not far from here, and I went there and I said, let me see if it's still the way it was when I came here in 74. And I stood up and I just looked at the sign and looked like I didn't know what it was doing. A woman with a stroller with her baby in it, said, can I help you? Do you know? And I said, yes, I don't know how to get here. She said, well, follow me. I'm going that way. She got on the train and I got the sense real quick, she's not going that way. She's helping me because she thinks I don't speak any Japanese. And then I spoke to her in English because she obviously didn't have any American friends or anybody that spoke English. And she probably did homestay and she still listens to TV or whatever, but this was an opportunity. This is a woman with the baby talking to me, and I wasn't in a suit necessarily, took me to the stop, and I said, I told her, please, I can find. She said, no. Took me to my stop, got on the train, and went back the other way. What? Who does that? You understand what I'm saying?
I have a lot of experience. But you get that from traveling, and I'm telling you, when we first started this conversation about different experiences shaping people, me going to Nigeria, I feel like there's something special about still having that almost village mentality, just really looking out for the next person. I experienced that my first time when I was 7 going to Nigeria for the first time. I remember I was kicking a ball with my cousins and went into the bushes in someone's yard or their yard per se. And it was something in my head, being from LA, I'm like, damn, I can't really
go get it.
I can't really. I guess the ball's gone. I'm just let's go do something else. And then they just had a whole different mentality because everyone's just Nigerian. So it's just they're kind of asked for the ball, and then it was crazy because the owner of the house was concerned as if my cousin almost wanted to reach, but it could have been a snake or something in there. And the owner of the house was just no, almost cared for us we were his, no, you could get hurt. So he reached in there and grabbed it for us. And they kind of opened, dang, people have a different mentality out here in Nigeria. It's
That's how I grew up in LA.
Yeah, and there's a different version of, you realize there's different versions
we knew
of that.
Nobody had fences around their yard.
Yeah.
Everybody ran across each other. I knew Mrs. Jones. I knew Mr. Pipkins. I knew every, or down my block, you know everyone. You didn't know the next block maybe.
Yeah.
But when you went trick-or-treating, you could go to any block.
Yeah,
and people were kind to you. Hey, baby, hey, honey.
Yeah.
And some people would give you this and that, and you weren't worried about a thing when I grew up. And then all of a sudden, things changed for whatever reason.
It changed a lot, yeah.
There were no such thing as helicopters coming over your home and all this other stuff.
Really?
No.
No way.
I didn't get any of that. Matter of fact, I left before that started happening.
Yeah.
I left in 70, 71.
Wow.
And then they changed my neighborhood. My neighborhood, the one I grew up in, Halldale, is all Hispanic now. It's not black because it's upper class Hispanics people there because the homes there, for them, they're upper middle class Hispanic.
What's crazy is that all these neighborhoods that I used to see growing up are changing again.
Yeah.
They're all changing again.
LA is very, very mobile, except for the wealthy areas. Brentwood's going to stay Brentwood. Beverly Hills is staying Beverly Hills.
PV's
a few of the people,
PV,
Palos Verdes, my brother lived in Palos Verdes. I remember when they were building, it was just, that's where we used to go to ride our motorcycles and stuff because it was just dirt.
Up the hills and stuff?
And that was all we did.
Dope. That
was before they built those homes, man. That's all we did. That's all we did. It was just dirt. They hadn't built anything yet.
That's dope.
Palos Verdes where everybody, that's where you went out there and the kids didn't care and you just went up the hill and did all kind of stuff, man. They had go-kart track around there and everything.
Dope. That's dope.
I grew up at that time. That's the time I grew up. So you said what you're going to do for the rest of the time while you're here?
So visit those other areas.
Those other areas.
I think while I'm here, I have 3 other friends I've never been here before, so I'll probably link up with them today. And we just try different food spots. I feel like a lot of my friends are foodies, so they go like Michelin this, Michelin that. I tried soba noodles for the first time yesterday. That was really good.
You knew that the first time you came?
You know what's funny?
You're not eating at McDonald's and stuff, are you?
No. I ate McDonald's one time, but trust me, like my palate's a lot different. Like when in 2019, I didn't eat sushi. Okay. I didn't like. So I came here and
you couldn't?
No, I just didn't. I didn't want to try it. I grew up like
you cook that bad boy.
Like that's how I was, and it wasn't until. You've been in Nobu before, I'm assuming.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So my friend had, when I got back to the States, my friend had a wedding reception at Nobu, and I was starving. I was really picky at the time. And the only options were like sashimi, nigiri, all these different things. And I'm like, dang, I'm starving. I got to eat this. And then you try it, and it's like, I've been missing good sushi my whole life. Like,
but it's not good other places. See, that's the one thing. You go to the States and they think they're eating good sushi. They don't know what they're eating. And I went to Dubai and they had a sushi restaurant. And I looked at it. I said, "You got to be kidding me!" Nobody was in there, and that stuff looked like plastic.
Tell you, it's hard to get tacos outside of LA. It's just like there's certain things you just don't do.
You can't do.
No, you just don't do it.
I grew up with tacos, man. That's always there was no such thing as Taco Bell.
It'll never be the
same.
They
had corners where you had taco stand, and it was, man. We used to ditch school just to go by. I don't know what they called them, but they're long and round rolled. I forget what we called them then, and tacos. Because we didn't want to get the 35-cent lunch they had at school because we're tired of that crap. So we go out and get tacos. We ditch school, jump over the fence.
Imagine getting food for 35 cents. Man.
Shoot, man. Oh, yeah. That's it. We went to a movie, it cost 35 cents.
That is insane.
And you got to see 3 features.
Insane, man.
Oh, was it two features and a cartoon in between?
That's insane. Man.
Yeah, because they had the matinee. You went there for that. And we go together. Little kids could go. And it was just...
That's dope.
Oh, yeah.
Make the use of a penny. Sometimes I see them like...
Oh, you had penny candies. You go to the corner store and you had penny candies. Oh, yeah. You get sometimes 2 for a penny. 2 pieces of candy for a penny. You had paper rolls. We had Tootsie. And then you had pickled pig's feet. And you had pickles.
I'm crying over not seeing 50-cent candies anymore. I remember can't get you anything anymore.
I remember coming back here, and I guess I wasn't paying that much attention because I was trying to become an adult, I guess, when I was riding my motorcycles just before I came into the service in LA. And I remember coming back here, the biggest difference, not coming here, but being in the service and being in a room and having all these other guys. That's the first time I realized I had never, ever really been around white people.
No way.
Because only 5 guys in our squadron were black. And the other 4 brothers didn't want to have anything to do with me because they were from the South. And my accent was different. They would call me Hollywood and stuff like that. They didn't want to deal with me.
I kind of get that sometimes.
They didn't want to have anything to do with me. And that was cool. Me and Martinez were buddies because he was from LA and he was Mexican. So
LA has its own struggles.
But guess what?
It's funny.
When they found out I was beating everybody and everything.
Yeah.
I ran faster. I jumped higher. I did all this stuff. One day I bet one guy that I could stand still, jump up, spin around backwards, and land on my feet without using my hands. And the cat said, "You can't do that." One of these big Nebraskan guys. I said, "Okay, give Martinez your money, and I'll give him my money." And because Martinez knew, he already knew I could do it. And I stood there, and everyone's around me now, and these brothers are watching. See, watch this. Nigga, gonna look at food. You know, I'm glad he's not one of us.
Yeah.
When I did my backflip, let me see you do it again. I said, "Show me some more money." And the brothers said, "Oh man," they were all crazy, man. They thought this guy. They said, "Man, I might as well have flown." They couldn't believe. They never saw a brother do that.
Where'd you learn that from?
I was a gymnast. I was a gymnast at Manual Arts. I was a competitive gymnast for 3 years in high school, 1 year in college.
That's tough. That's fine.
Yeah. Kanadi Allen, you never know him. He was one of the first black gymnasts who was on the international stage. And women's gymnastics was not a thing. They were just barely doing cartwheels on there. If I tell you, I could go into that really deep, man, but it's a whole different thing. I took gymnastics because my father put me in school a year before I should have been in. So I was weaker than everyone else, and I carried that all the way through. I was weaker mentally and physically. A 5-year-old and a 4-year-old are completely different. And when you get 6-year-old and a 5-year-old are different. We played softball. We had softball and kickball. These guys were kicking the ball all over the place, and they let Lance do it, and I'd hit it.
You just always competing up,
and I was always looked younger. I was always younger, and my girlfriends when I got in high school were always a year older than me. So they were just using me. Man, I didn't know. It was a whole different thing.
I've been there.
But when I became a gymnast, man, life changed. My body started getting different. I challenged the football team to a strength contest, but only using your own body. So you know what an L seat is when you hold yourself up like this, hold your legs straight. So I said, let's see who can do the longest. I was killing them, man.
No way they're not beating you.
Personally, then I reached their slowest. I said, I can beat your slowest runner in football, jumping backwards, doing back handsprings. Man, we got on the football field and I kicked butt. No, man, we were doing all that. And I became the school cheerleader. Mascot, not the cheerleader, because the cheerleaders, they had, and gay wasn't a thing. Really? You know, the guys you had to hide that if you were like that.
Wow.
If you were like that, you better not come out with that. We could tell, we kind of told, but it was something you kept to yourself.
You know, I feel like social media allowed it made it a lot easier for people to be more open about, because you get to hear different people's stories, you know.
So, babe, before I end the podcast, there's always a question I like to ask all my guests.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and meet the younger Sobe and give him advice based upon what you know now, and you've had a therapist and everything, and you talk with your dad and your mom, and give him advice, how old would you be at that time, and what advice would you give him?
I would probably go, because I'm living it right now, but I feel like I'll go to maybe my early teens. I feel like when dealing with, becoming what is a man, right? Like, do I have to work out more? Do I have to be mentally tougher? Like growing up in LA is crazy, bro. Like you couldn't walk in a mall with more than 2 people because there's a lot of gang violence, things like that. I think
you cannot.
You couldn't at one point. It got so bad.
With more than 2 people?
Yeah, like you like more than it got.
You had to come in by yourself.
You go in. You have one person you go with. More than that, it's just there were a lot of gang injunctions. It was like LA started getting really crazy at a certain point. So I feel like.
Wait, you mean they wouldn't let you come in? They had guards there or something?
There, like security guards would be like, "Oh, you have to split up." Like it's just like you can't, because there was too much gang stuff going on. So I feel like that was a time that mentally would really test. It doesn't have. LA's a lot different, but I feel like that point mentally would test you, like who you are as a man, and you're around a lot of other people that weren't always right in the head on like what a man, like, but you had to be around different kinds of people. I think like I would tell myself to believe in yourself and just bet on yourself more, and I think that would have sped up the process to where I am today. I feel like I got here through these experiences, don't get me wrong, but eventually I trial and error. I always try things. Okay, I like this, I don't like that, and I got to where I am today because of that, but I wasn't taking as many risks as I could have. I think I would have been like, you know what, F what they're saying, I'm try to do this, maybe this chess class, or play this instrument, even though like people are clowning on me. I'll just do it, whatever. I'll just try to do that, you know. I would have done a lot, like I do, like that's why I'm even out here. I'll just go. I'll just try something new. First podcast, do it. You know what I mean?
This is your first podcast?
First podcast, I'll just do it. You know what I mean? I'll just try it, you know. Yeah.
Sobe, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate
Fantastic.
you.
I want to thank all of you for looking or listening to this podcast, and never forget, it's all on loan, so continue to reach for the stars.
Because you're too blessed to be stressed.